Section 10 of The One and Only Bob. Chapter title, Ruby. Uncle Bob! Ruby races over glump glump across the broad field that's part of the elephant's domain. She's so cute when she runs, like she's determined not to trip on her trunk. Ruby adores me. I make her laugh. I read the room. I lighten the mood. I gotta admit, I am kind of adorable. When I'm with Ivan, I think, pal, we've been through a lot. You and me, we are survivors. When I'm with little Ruby, I think, girl, look at you. Hard luck passed, and here you are, so much happier, so loved. Ruby, like Ivan, was plucked from Africa as a baby. She ended up in a circus that went bankrupt and then got shipped off to Max Mall. Ruby was taken in by dear old Stella. When Stella passed away, Ivan stepped in to play, well, elephant dad, I guess. I did my part too, not because it's like I felt I had to. It just made life easier. Elephant toddlers are a handful. You think humans are bad? Try putting 200-pound baby elephant in timeout. Chapter title, Ruby's Family. Little Ruby seems much more content at the park, surrounded by her new herd. Old and young and in between, they spoil that adorable pachyderm like you wouldn't believe. She deserves every minute of it. Kid had a rough start. Seems elephants hang out in packs of females. Now that she's at the park, Ruby has adoptive sisters and aunts and grandmothers galore. In the wild, the elephant guys head off once they're old enough and do their own thing. Sometimes they lose track of who's among the elephants because they're always taking mud baths, scrambling their smells. By the way, what kind of animal actually likes baths? Mud, sure. Chapter title, Ivan's Art. How's it going, girl? I call to Ruby as she stops near the moat edging the wall. I had a cantaloupe for breakfast, Uncle Bob, and it was yummy. And then I took a bath, and she pauses to take a breath. Do you want to hear a new dog riddle, Uncle Bob? Of course I do, I say. I can catch Ivan's amused glance. What kind of dog is always on time, asks Ruby. You got me, Ruby. I'm totally baffled. Befuddled, bewildered. What kind of dog? A watchdog, Ruby exclaims. Watchdog, get it, Uncle Bob? Not bad, Ruby. Not bad at all, I say. Ivan says it's going to rain buckets, says Ruby. She dips her trunk in the moat and blows bubbles. I think Ivan is onto something there. Did he show you his new picture, Ruby asks. She grabs a tuft of grass and tosses it in the air. I wish I could see it, but I can't because of that silly wall. But he told me all about it. My pal Ivan is quite the artist, just like Julia. Ivan sits up and nods towards a spot on the wall. Another mud mural, I ask? As any good dog knows, dirt plus water equals mud, and mud means mess, and mess means let's roll in the stuff and maybe dig a hole or 2 or 10. But for Ivan, mud plus flat surface equals a waiting canvas. I crane my neck, edging it a bit further down the top of the wall. I don't want to draw attention to myself. Hey, nice, I say. I mean, I'm not an art guy. To me, art is a glop of spray cheese on a cheese dog with extra grated cheese on top. Still, I've always admired Ivan's work. Ivan begins. No, I say, don't tell me, let me guess. You always get it wrong, Ivan says. Not always. You thought my palm tree was a dandelion. Art is in the eye of the beholder, I say. You thought my blackberries were giant ants. Kenyani ambles up to join in the conversation. And need I remind you that you thought his portrait of me was a chimpanzee with gas? The resemblance was striking, I say. Kenyani glares at me. She glares at me a lot. Chapter title, On the Subject of Chimps. Probably shouldn't have mentioned the chimp angle. Gorillas aren't as open-minded as dogs. A lot of them have a thing about chimps. Think that they're clowns. But then I look at the apes and the gorillas. Seems to me that they have a lot more in common than they admit to. Dogs ain't perfect, but I'll tell you one thing where we rule. tolerance. For us, a dog is a dog is a dog. I see a Great Dane, I say howdy. I run into a puggle, it's glad to meet you. How's it going? Smelled any good pee lately? Go to the dog park and you'll see we are equal opportunity playful. You sniff my rear, I sniff yours. You don't see that with humans, obviously, constantly seeing differences where none exist. All those things, like skin color, dogs could care less. You know, I won't hang with a Dalmatian because he's spotted. You think I won't hang with a Dalmatian because he's spotted? Or a Shar Pei because she's wrinkled? I'm not saying I love every dog I meet. Snickers comes to mind. But I'll always give a dog a benefit of the doubt. Life is short, play is good, and there are plenty of tennis balls to go around. Next chapter. A very handsome dog. Hi, Aunt Kenyani, Ruby calls. Once again, Ruby says, Kenyani, I am not your aunt. I am a primate, and you, my dear, are not. More's the pity. But if Ivan is my uncle, then you have to be my aunt, Ruby declares. Says Ivan, pointing to the wall. My painting, Bob. I consider. It looks like a dog. Ruby flaps her ears, and I can tell she's trying very hard to stay quiet. A very handsome dog, I add. It is, Ruby exclaims. It's you, Uncle Bob. Uncle Ivan told me. But who's that? I ask, pointing to another set of mud strokes. I thought you needed a companion, says Ivan. I know you must get lonely at home all by yourself all day. It's true. I've never mentioned that to Ivan. Guy's like a mind reader. I think Snickers and Bob would make a cute couple, says Ruby. I blink in disbelief. Bite your trunk. Ruby starts to reply, but her voice is drowned out by a sharp clap of thunder. Storm's getting close, says Kenyani. Ivan, dear, come on. You know how you hate the damp. It's true. He carries around old burlap bags so he won't have to sit in the wet grass. Ivan looks at me sheepishly. She knows me so well. Kazoo, one of the baby gorillas, bounds over and leaps onto Ivan's back. Ivan loves all the youngsters, but Kazoo is his favorite. I think she reminds him of his twin sister, Tag, who died when she was still a baby. Ride, Kazoo commands. Julia appears, her backpack at the ready. Bob, she calls, we need to get going. Ride now, Kazoo repeats, yanking on one of Ivan's ears. Looks like it's time to go, says Ivan. Good to see you, buddy. Stay dry, okay? Will do, big guy, I turn to Kenyani. Enchanted as always, my dear. A trumpeting noise cuts through the air. Uh-oh, says Ruby. That's Aunt Akello. Akello, the oldest of the elephant ants, lumbers over. Come on, Ruby. The weather's getting bad. Just one more minute, Ruby pleads. Now. But I need to tell Uncle Bob one more riddle. Now, Akello repeats. Nobody ever listens to the littlest elephant, Ruby complains. You can tell me the riddle next time, kiddo, I say, winking at Akello. Ruby brightens. Okay, gotta go or I'll be in big trouble. Love you, Uncle Bob. See you later, Uncle Ivan and Aunt Kenyani. I'm not your... Kenyani begins, but Ruby is already galloping back to her herd. And that is the end of section 10. Have a great day.